What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the land of Reckless Logic. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack that notification bell so do not miss any of my posts from me. Let's get straight into this video. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty. So what is going on, everyone? Just so you guys are aware, you guys already tell by the title of this video, I will be talking about Chrisean Rock and Blueface. So recently within the media, Chrisean Rock has announced that she is actually, in fact, pregnant. But Blueface is basically saying that he needs DNA proof to actually prove that he is the father. Now we're going to get into that. But then after that, we're actually going to get into the No Jumper interview episode where Chrisean Rock and Blueface were both guests. Because, baby, I have a lot to say when it comes down to that. So let me actually read this article. Actually, before I even do all of that, let me do this. I'm going to run my fair use and explicit content disclaimer because I know for a fact I will be running video. I know for a fact this all of this will fall under fair use. Let's get straight into it, y'all. Let's go. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allows is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, always constructive, comment down below, news reporting, I guess that's what we doing, teaching, hopefully y'all learn something, scholarship, we ain't got no money, education and research so you can get a nasty piece of degree, okay? Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Alrighty, yes, come on, fair use doctrine. I'm just gonna keep that up and keep that in my back pocket. Thank you for putting that up there. Hallelujah, praise them. And I will play that again right before, I actually go with the other clip because, baby. Alrighty, so yes, like I was saying, so first things first, we're gonna get into Chrisean Rock and Blueface. Now, they're in the media once again because, like I literally just said, Chrisean Rock actually has announced that she's actually pregnant, but Blueface needs a DNA test to confirm whether or not he is or isn't the father. Now, within that, they did actually have a little scuffle on the internet, on Twitter specifically. Basically, what I took from the tweets, I'm gonna give my little notes here. So basically what I got from Blueface Twitter is basically saying that he's not the father. He said that or alluded to Chrisean cheating, talking to 10 other men. And then basically said he needed a DNA test. Now, Chrisean did actually respond saying that, don't be the first one on the internet to hurt me. She also confirms the breakup that Blueface, I want to say in his tweets that he actually alluded to, or he actually stated that they broke up. But Chrisean actually confirms that they broke up, and she knows for certain because she was not sexually involved with anybody else. And then Chrisean had an IG live IG video that she played and stuff. So I'm actually going to read this article to get more details, just in case if I missed the beat. So this specific article is from XXL. Now it says here, Blueface and Chrisean Rock break up amid pregnancy news. Blue claims child isn't his. Girl. Let's get into it. Now it says here, Chrisean has announced that she is pregnant just hours after Blueface formally announced they have broken up. However, Blue claims he's not the father. On Friday, which was January 20th, Chrisean Rock jumped on her Instagram story to reveal that she is pregnant just hours after Blueface announced on his Twitter page that he and Rock are officially done. Girl, here we go. Now it says, additionally, Blue added that he may not be the father of Chrisean's child. Now, these posts, you can most definitely go to the shade room and just about see the receipts there. Now, I'm going to be kind of careful about some of the things that I show, only because I don't want to push my luck on the fair use and all of that things. So I'm just going to keep it to a minimum. But you can most definitely go to the shade room. Now, I'm going to continue. Now, the article says here, and I quote, Rock has had encounters with 10 different men in the last year until I see a DNA test, then it's not mine, he tweeted. To answer y'all questions, yes, me and Rock are officially done. It's strictly business. I tried it, and clearly it wasn't given before she announces. She's pregnant with somebody else's child, not mine. hands prayer emoji. Now that's what Blueface wrote on Twitter. Now here's my thing, because I really don't have my other notes, but here's my thing. Okay, you guys broke up. Okay, you guys are not together. Okay, you're saying it's not yours. You're not claiming, like, but here's my thing, because you're saying the baby's not yours. Yes, it could be true. It could be true that Chrisean cheated with 10 other guys. That could be true. But if you know, and for one, we know as well, because their sex tape was leaked by Chrisean, and on top of that, there has been most social media posts like Instagram lives where you will see them being sexual with each other. So if you know that you have slept with Chrisean, then it doesn't matter if it was once, twice, 3 times, whatever. There's a possibility that you just might be the child's father. So you just automatically coming out of the woodwork saying, that's not my baby, da 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 da. You have to be careful with that. And the reason why you have to be careful with that, because you do not want to eat your words. And the reason why I'm saying that as well too is because one of these days, also in collaborative effort with Chrisean Rock and the stuff that she does and the stuff that you do, your child is going to grow up. Well, if the child is yours, is going to grow up and see all of this and saying like, whoa, you didn't want me? Whoa, I wasn't yours? And see all the hurtful language that's being put out to the atmosphere and the toxicity within the relationship, which is obvious. But let me continue. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on? I'm gonna start there because I want to make sure that I actually have something to say to that. Okay. So it says here. Now it continues this. I know I thought y'all thought she was all about me. Me too. LOL. But the facts are facts. Being my baby mama would be a blessing. The Tatiana rapper added. Now here's the thing. When it comes down to her being all about him, or that, I want to speak to that because that's actually something that just said that reminded me. Now she says she's way too obsessed with him and the relationship. It would be surprising if someone else. That would be surprising. But here's the thing. The thing is that this is the reason why I always stress on the whole codependency factor within relationships. Like, the reason why Chrisean Rock is like this, specifically when it comes down in terms of Blueface, in terms of, I'm dropping stuff, in terms of her obsession with him and all these things, is because, for one, she lacks self-esteem. 2, she's codependent. And the reason why I know that she's codependent specifically is the fact that she's missing a tooth. The fact that she's missing a tooth. Now, some people can argue saying, yes, you should love yourself for who you are. You should embrace your own individuality. It works for her. She's a very pretty girl. But here's the thing. I could probably accept that if she didn't actually try to get the tooth fixed. What I'm keeping in mind and keeping in context is that she actually went to go get the tooth fixed, which tells me that she wanted to get it fixed, which means that she didn't like it, or she felt like she had something to improve in that area for herself. But then, now this is where the codependency slaps hard. But then when Blueface came out the woodworks and said something along the lines of this, oh, you starting to act weird just because you got that tooth, or you starting to act funny just because you got your teeth fixed. What did she do? She took the tooth out. So that screams to me that for myself, I want to get my tooth fixed, or for myself, I want to improve certain things that I feel like I need to improve. But then just because I'm so codependent in this relationship and on him, and vice versa, Just because he doesn't like it, he says, I'm active. Let me show my loyalty to him. I'm going to take this tooth out. And to be realistic, I feel like he does. I personally feel like he does that just to make sure that she's not so attractive to other men. Because let's just call a spade a spade. That's what a lot of men do. They want to make sure that their women a lot of times they can be attractive for eye candy, but not too attractive. So, I don't want everybody looking at you, but you can do this, you can do that. But as long as you're not as attractive to actually make people want to completely come up to you, do all the different things, you're good. So let me continue. Let me see. Okay, now it says here, despite Blueface's claim, Chrisean is adamant that the California rhymer is the father of her baby. Now it says here, and I quote, so what happens when you eat all your evil words? I haven't sexually been active with no one but you, and plus there can be a DNA test, she wrote. And I don't need your money. I got my own. I don't need a baby daddy. I'm having this child because I don't want to keep terminating. Now here, Lord. Now here's the thing. Now when it comes down to that comment of I want to have the baby because I'm tired of terminating my pregnancies. Here's the thing. The same thing I told him I'm about to tell you, Chrisean, is that you have to be mindful of the things that you say, specifically when you are part of the media or you're a public figure. It's because your child is going to grow up. Your child is going to grow up and see all of this. And you're stating and expressing that, I just don't want to keep, going down the same route. So I'm just going to have the baby. I'm just going to have the baby. Just because, I'm just tired of terminating my pregnancies. Dysfunction all around. But you have to be mindful of the things that you say. Hey, what's going on, Rainy? Hey, Rainy. Hey, JT. So I'm going to continue. We broke up before knowing I was pregnant. She added, and I quote, I still ain't do nothing sexual with any dude. I'll be a dumb if I didn't know for certain. Now, in response, Blueface insists that the child is not his, and I quote, she must be currently drinking while pregnant. That's a red flag. And red flag emoji he put. It's not a Blueface baby. Tears of joy emoji. He tweeted, Lord, please, in the name of Jesus. Girl, you see how they love putting Jesus up and stuff? You see, Jesus be minding, the Black Holy Ghost be minding their business. Here we go. Let me finish reading on this last part. Their relationship drama continues after a week of fighting between the Crazy in Love reality TV couple. Now it says here, last week the pair traded shots on Twitter over Chrisean's unwillingness to fight against her own family for Blueface. Then Chrisean gets thrown out during an interview with No Jumper Shark Tank podcast. And we're going to talk about that because, baby, when I tell you the gaslighting was real, it was real. Now, I think that was the end of it, but should I? No, so basically everything I read in the article, that's basically what she's going to say, So let me say, now it says here, come on, hey, Dalia. As a pro-choice advocate, this situation is an example of a tough part of being on this side. That's still a choice. Because to be completely honest is that if she wants to keep the pregnancy, she has the opportunity. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. She has to, but I just think that if she's going to, okay, I'm going to say this. Because since I just might forget. Oh, Lord. Let me put this up here. Let me say this. I'm going to say this. When it comes down to her, yes, I do believe that she needs to, of course, get in therapy. And this is what I mean when I say do things for yourself. Because when you do things for everybody else, you're going to be left high and dry. or you're going to be felt, or you're going to have this feeling of emptiness. Because when you do things for yourself and you actually have that self-love, and I know people just throw self-love out of there, like out in the atmosphere, and they just use it, and you know they just have this regular generic talking points, etc. But when you actually have that true self-love, a lot of the things that you put up with before you actually discover the true definition of self-love, a lot of that stuff you wouldn't deal with. A lot of that stuff you wouldn't even have tolerance for. Now, it's one thing to be a little patient with somebody, but it's another thing when you have a boundary and on a consistent basis, the person's overstepping those boundaries. And we're gonna get into it all. We're gonna get into it. Because, and the reason why I say that is because of this. Because I remember with my own mother, she had some issues with my own father, and they had like a toxic relationship going on. But she was also, I'm gonna say, even though it was other things that played a part, but she was also codependent. She was codependent on my father. She was codependent with being in a relationship with him. She was codependent with having a partner, and putting her value into the next person instead of putting that value, realizing that your value is right here, which is within yourself, which is your soul, your essence. That's where the value should be. How can you love somebody when you don't love yourself? And if a person knows that and still decides to get in a relationship with you, and then uses those vulnerable points and feelings and expressions, then yes, they don't love you. Because what they're doing is using your vulnerability as a weapon of mass destruction. No shade. But what I will say is this, and this just might be one of the steps of her fully walking away from Blueface. With my own mother. Like I said, she had a toxic relationship with my father. At least that's what I'm being told. And plus, she told me this stuff too. She never got in too much of a detail. But this is something that she always expressed to me whenever we had our talks. Very toxic relationship with my father. But she always told me what gave her that power to really walk away from my father, despite how much toxicity that was within the relationship, despite how much she loved him, despite how much they both were kryptonite for each other, but willing to stay because of comfortability. Poetic Flocko, you might want to stay for this whole thing, because baby, the way I'm going to you might want to stay for the whole thing, because the way I'm going to go in on this interview. But and Poetic Flocko, by the way, Blueface is not a victim. I'm going to express why. But hold on, I'm glitching on my side. I hope I'm not glitching on your side. But let me say this. The reason why my mother was able to walk away, it's because she always told me this. It's because she had me. And I'm not saying that to bragging on myself, but no, she said that because she had me. And just because I reminded her of my father, but only the good parts, she was able to walk away from the toxicity of the relationships because she still had him, but actually, in all actuality, it was me. To realize that you actually have the other version of this person and its purity, but I don't have to deal with the toxicity. So that's one of the stepping stones of how my mother was able to walk away from the toxicity of my father and her relationship. Now, so I got that out the way. Let's continue. Because, okay, I'm going to run my fair use disclaimer one more time, because I know it's probably going to try to happen, is that everything I'm about to do right now goes up under fair use. Okay, but I'm gonna run my fair use disclaimer one last time, and then we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this interview, and we're gonna watch this interview. We're gonna dissect this interview. Just for your information, there will be a lot of pausing and commentary. I can tell you guys that much, because the gaslighting in this interview was insane. Poet Flacco says he got cheated on, took a glass to the head that split open his scalp, got his car stolen and damaged by her, house broken into, got lied on by her, had his career ruined. Justice for that man. If it's a no jumper interview, you'll be good, bro. I'll hit Adam. He won't strike you. But the thing is, he can't strike me regardless. So, so thank you anyway. But you might. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to your messages though. Because I saved your messages in the chat because. But here's the thing. They're both. But here's the thing. I just don't like it how now Blueface is acting like he's the victim. That both are them. 1 and 2. Both are both toxic. They both indulge in the toxicity. They both contribute to the toxicity. But let me run my fair use because I can show you better than I can tell you. Because when I tell you I was so gaslit just watching her in this interview be gaslit by Sharp and Blueface, oh, we gonna get into it. Let me run this fair use. Let's get straight into it, y'all. Y'all make sure you guys thumbs up this video.
I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger.
Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allows is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, always constructive. Comment down below. News reporting, I guess that's what we doing. Teaching, hopefully y'all learn something. Scholarship, we ain't got no money. Education and research so you can get a nasty piece of degree. Okay? Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Ooh, girl, let's get into it, y'all. So let me just share my screen. Bam. So this is the interview. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I watched this interview, I was gaslit. Because here's the thing. I wasn't only paying attention to the expressions in terms of just always the explicit expressions. I was paying attention to the things that were being said. I was paying attention to the things that weren't being said. I was paying attention to things the way that people were speaking, the tone they were speaking in. I was paying attention to all of that. But it's all right. I can show you, but I can tell you. Let's get straight into it, y'all.
Shark Tank. Hello. No Jumper. The coolest podcast in the world. It's your girl Gina Views.
Sharp in the building. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk. Hey, man, this one right here.
We got the hottest couple on the internet.
Pretty much right now. How has it been for y'all, man? How is it? First and foremost, how are y'all doing today?
Great. I'm doing great.
She was a little teary-eyed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
What's going on? What happened?
What's going on?
I just emotional. I don't know if it's my period or am I pregnant. I don't know.
You say you don't know if it's your period or if you're pregnant.
I'm just saying, like, that's what's going on.
Well, I don't think you're pregnant if you got your period, sweetie.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it's that or that.
Yeah. I mean, I was just trying to help her out here, so I don't think it was. Hey,
what happened? What triggered these tears?
Huh?
Yeah.
What triggered these tears? What's going on right now?
Nothing. It could be like completely nothing in my eyes, which is part of it. So I got nothing to do with anybody. Okay, can we talk about something else? Not my tears.
You seem nervous.
I'm not
nervous.
nervous.
We're here for you.
Yeah,
We're here for you, sweetie. For real, we are. So just speak up for us. However you feel it today, hopefully we can get that out.
You've dominated 2022. You're going to get your...
Okay. So it's going to be a lot of pause, and I got to talk about some things. Okay, so you guys have noticed how when they first started the interview, Sharp, Gina, and Blueface and Chrisean, they're all introducing each other, cool. But then they of course they make it obvious and make an announcement that Chrisean, she's emotionally unstable, something's going on. And as you guys can tell from the host, and also I'm gonna say they don't even later on Blueface, they wanted to talk about it. And I want you to hold this too. I'm gonna hold on to that as well too, because I'm glad that you said that, because my sister said the same thing. So you can tell that they wanted to speak about it. She didn't want to speak about it. So she's like, let's move on. She let it be known that she's emotional. She says she doesn't really know why. It can either be she could possibly be pregnant, or it's her period. Now she said either I'm pregnant or it's my period. Sharp responded, because girl, I'm about to keep bringing this up and down, y'all, because I want to see y'all face to face when I say this shit. He responded with, "Oh baby, just to let you know, you can either have one or the other. You can't have two." For one, that's condescending. Two, she already made it clear when she said either it's one or the other. And she also said or, which means one or the other. So you trying to correct her and saying that, you can only have one or the other. It was passive aggressive and it was condescending. Now, let me see. Let me put this bad boy right back up. Let's continue, because it could, baby, when I tell you I was so gaslit, I was like, okay. Oh, that's all I want to say.
We got to talk about it.
Let me do this. That's all I want to say. Now, because my sister said the same thing. Where you at? Right here. Now, this is what Rainey had to say. She said, you can definitely still bleed while pregnant. My sister said the exact same thing. So, yes, you can have both. So, while you sitting there trying to be a smart ass, not knowing that both two things can be true at the same time. And he was being very passive aggressive throughout this whole interview, and they was gaslighting her throughout the whole interview. But it's all right. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's continue. Okay. Hey, IG, what's going on? Okay, girl. I got all these things popping up.
Sure. I like your song too, Vibes. I was like, I didn't even know that was her ass. I said, oh, look at her. She can rap too. Okay, she just don't know how to just fight and take off on shit. She actually get out on the music scale. How's that been for you, like transitioning from obviously like, a no name, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like living regular life to just all this fame now and this, you know what I'm saying?
Here we go. This is going to be a long video, y'all. So here we go. So as you guys can tell, he talked about her rapping. He talked about how, oh, Jesus. Yeah, he talked about her rapping, saying that her song vibes. Oh, I didn't know if Sharp wants to come up with, will you let him up and have a conversation with him once you get done with the interview reaction? And he can. It don't matter to me, but my thing is he can. But it's a lot of things that I clocked in this whole interview. Now that might have to be scheduled for a different time, but he can. We can have a conversation. It doesn't matter to me. Now here's the thing. He talked about her rapping. What I paid attention to, the tone, because he was talking to, I heard about your song, right? I didn't even know that was you. Oh, because it's she's not only beating bitches up, she rapping too. Oh, for one, that's passive aggressive. That's a grown woman, whether or not we think she's immature or not. Whether a person believes they're immature or not, no grown ass adult thinks it's appropriate for you to be able to, who's a cute little baby? He's a cute little baby. Oh my God. Like no grown ass adult likes that. That's passive aggressive. No shade. Let's get straight into it, y'all. Now, and not only that, he said, for me, I pay attention to the verbiage. And the verbiage I paid attention to is that when he spoke, he said something along the lines of, you know, like how is it being like transitioning, you know, basically from a no name to, you know, now being able to have a career, etc. I paraphrase that. But the no name kind of spoke volumes because when you take it into consideration, the way that when speaking about the emotional, about Chrisean Rock being emotionally unstable at the time, and then when she talked about her rapping, you gave her the little baby voice. Oh, I didn't know you was rapping like that. Oh my God. The condescending. Then you take into account you get making a slick comment about being pregnant, but at the same time having a period, but not realizing two things can be true at the same time. Keep all of that in mind. I'm gonna let it continue.
This newfound stardom. How's it been for you? How's the transition been, Chrisean?
I just give glory to God. That's it.
Yeah. Glory to God, huh? God is good. That's why I didn't understand why you're so sad.
I'm not sad.
He was crying, so I was like, "Damn, what's?"
Yeah, because I just told you I'm emotional right now. It's either my period or I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
What the heck? Did you not hear me, sir?
Yo, I did. I just know that, you know, a period and pregnancy don't run hand in hand.
I'm saying it's either.
Am I tripping?
Did you not hear me?
You mean like she means like?
Once again, that's not true. You can do both. You can have both. Basically, from two pregnant women that I know, they said you can bleed, but also be pregnant at the same time. It's a possibility.
Either that
your
or
period
this
is on the way.
It's either that or this.
Next week gonna be my emotional week.
Okay, it's on the way. I'm under the impression that it was going on right now. She was like, it's either my period or I'm pregnant.
Yeah, so like it's finna come.
She don't know yet. It's on the way.
Or
it's gonna come or it's not gonna come.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations if it doesn't come.
Oh God.
Congrats early.
You did tweet a few days ago that your wedding is going to be in October. So you guys planning a wedding?
You guys planning a wedding?
We planning a wedding?
She crazy.
What was that about?
Crazy, bro.
What was that about?
Now you see this right here. Now here's the thing. A lot of these things I pay attention to. So when you take into account the emotionally being unstable and she wants to move on, but yet you still pressing the issue. We take into account the rapping, talking about her rapping abilities, and you're using the baby voice, and oh, you such a, I didn't know you could rap like that. Oh my God. And then when you make the little sly remark talking about her being pregnant or having a period, but yet she made it very clear that you can, for her, it's either this or that, but yet you're making it your business not to understand her. When you take into account when you use the verbiage of no name, and when you also take into account when they're talking about the wedding tweet, in the midst of it, you're calling her crazy. Oh my God, this girl is crazy. She is insane. Like, how do you think a person's gonna take that? Like, how do you think someone's gonna react to that? Oh, thank you, Christina. Now it says here, come on, Reckless, break it down for them. Love the channel and outlook on these hot mess people, period. And thank you for the contribution. I really appreciate it. But here's the thing, like, how do you expect somebody, how do you think a person's going to take that, receive that? Because also in the exact same video, later on at the end, now keep in mind, I'm not going to do the whole video. That's not happening. But I'm going to do a chunk of it, though. At the end of the video, they basically established that this is the first time meeting Rock. Well, I'm going to say his first time meeting Rock. The lady is familiar with Blueface and Rock. So if this is your first time meeting somebody, that's being kind of, why the fuck would I go to somebody's face and be like, oh, you're emotional right now? You know, you want to talk about it? And then when they say move on, I still press the issue. That's not a good way to try to build a relationship or be friendly if that's what you really want to do. Is either okay, cool. Then when I talk about the rapping abilities, oh my God, you just rapping. Oh my God, you just so rapping. That's condescending, especially to a grown-ass adult. Whether or not, if the person actually knows or believes that they're immature or not, no grown-ass adult is going to actually take kind to that. They're going to be like, why you talking to me like that? Aww. But I'm going to continue. Let's continue.
Zeus be televising it? What's going on? Is that
married on Zeus?
Is that the episode finale of Crazy in Love?
I'm getting married in October. That's what I said.
Hey, I don't mind coming, being the pastor. And seeing y'all, I said, I don't mind coming, and being the pastor, and signing it off, man, on the dotted line for y'all, man. I think that'd be a beautiful thing because at first, I'm gonna be real with y'all. When I seen this, I was like, this gotta be for play. This gotta be because they make good money together. That's how I looked at it. Like people like seeing y'all together. Right. People like seeing y'all interact, whether it's drama, whether it's just kicking it, whether it's just y'all two motherfuckers just sitting there and just looking at each other and not saying nothing. Right. People like seeing y'all together. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know until like I seen like, okay, they really do with each other. Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling you last time, I was like, damn, I thought it was just a sham. I said, shit, I just making money. Get your bread. Right. But then I start seeing y'all really do love each other. And I see you even when
it's not about the money.
Can't hear you, sweetie.
I said it's not about the money, but
of course not.
I get it.
Yeah.
What is it about? What's keeping you guys together?
Love.
You think, because I've been in this before, I fucked with people where maybe it's a traumatic bond that brought y'all together. Maybe it was something that happened that was very big that only y'all two understand, if that makes any sense. Traumatic bonds can bring people together too.
Now, just so you know, everything he's doing is very subtle. So a lot of people probably didn't even notice it like that. But as time goes on, there's going to be a build up. But it's all right. We're going to get into it. I'm going to break it down because, baby, I was like, the hell? But it's all right. Let's get into it.
So, like, traumatically,
like shit being fucked up. Yeah, you could have just having a fucked up situation. You having a fucked up situation. Whether it don't have to be financially. You know what I'm saying? It can just be something mentally, something going on that bonded y'all, and that's what I would consider almost a traumatic bond. Like it be some fucked up shit really bring people together.
Yeah, when we fight each other. I don't think it's traumatic. I think it's
no, it's traumatic. Both of y'all. It's traumatic.
Fight each other.
It's not a traumatic bond. It's more of a I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. I want you guys to pay attention because what he's about to do, he's about to make a comment is going to say something around the lines of underground. And I want you guys to pay attention once he actually makes that comment. And it was another comment he's going to make about, I think, naturally being fried. Pay attention to Chrisean's response. The subtle response, the body language, and even what she says. And pay attention.
Like it's like an underground thing. Like when I met her, she was underground.
Right.
So
underground.
Her getting
that was a good way to put it.
Yeah, her getting to this point.
That was a good way to put it.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. It was an underground relationship. So from starting with that, it's kind of like each day that we keep going, it's like.
What do you mean by underground relationship?
A bond. Underground as in like.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
Like secret?
Can I get a shot?
No, not secret. More underground is kind of like undiscovered, unappreciated, disliked.
Come on, Tiny, pass me the bottle.
Not ideal to the
everybody else. Exactly. Not really what you would applaud.
Yeah.
So it started as that from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, all right, if everybody
the odds was always against y'all.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like if the odds is against us, obviously we're gonna have a.
Here we go. Okay, so if you didn't catch it, let me help you out. Let me help y'all out. So, good thing I brought some of these notes earlier because dirt. Okay, so here's the thing. They were talking about the traumatizing bond, the traumatic bond, or whatever. They both disagree that's not a traumatic bond. I said, girl, both of y'all are a lie. Then they talk about the Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown and Ike and Tina comparison or reference dealing with both of their relationships compared to, Chris and Blueface. Now, what he said is that something along the lines of, underground. I liked her because she was underground. And she was like, what do you mean by that? Like, what does that mean? And then the first thing that came out of her mouth, can I have a shot? Can I have a drink? Can I have a shot? And what that screams to me is that when she goes under stress, when she feels a certain type of way, when she's dealing with something, the first thing she's going to the first thing she's going to do to be able to numb the pain or be able to, that she feels is therapeutic, she's going to use alcohol as a escape route. Now, reason why I paid attention to that, I was like, but then later on, and I don't know I forgot which part of the interview that happened, but I know it happened again. she's gonna do it again. And I want you guys to pay attention because once she gets into it with Blueface and Sharp again, she'll be like, "Can I please have a shot?" But let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it.
A natural bond just from being underdogs.
How do you guys feel about the Whitney and Bobby
Here we
or
go.
Ike and Tina comparison?
I mean, personally, yeah, I don't really know too much about their story, so I couldn't even tell you if it was similar or not. But from what I do know, we don't have like any drugs involved,
Right.
so where it's like
Not funny.
I'm feeding her anything to keep her going or anything. Honestly,
So you say she's not chemically infused here?
yeah, no.
This is just really her.
She's just naturally fried. Yeah.
Right.
Why
So,
did you talk?
but from what I
There we go. So they asked about the reference of Whitney and Bobby and Ike and Tina. Now, both of them made it very clear that they don't really know the relationship as in the details in terms of Whitney and Bobby, Ike and Tina. But what he does know is that with both of those relationships and a difference between their relationship and both of those references is that there were substances, there were other substances and stuff involved. So he said that in response, Sharp said, "Oh, so you mean to say that she's chemically not, revved up or anything like that?" And so Blueface responds and say, "Yeah, she's naturally fried." This is the subtle language and the gaslighting effect. Let's continue.
From what I know from their
Naturally
situation,
what?
it's kind of drug based, right? Whitney Houston, Ike and Tina.
Yo, get your know me.
Well, that's why the comparison
Whitney
is so
Houston and
false
Bobby?
because it's kind of
We're
saying that
sober.
these are two crackheads.
Yeah,
and they just
yeah,
out,
type thing.
Well, you don't look like no crackhead.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I'll
I mean,
be honest.
all we do is drink and smoke.
Y'all
so
don't
it's
act
kinda-
like it.
Yeah,
I
no.
know.
And also watch this too, because this also plays another big part later on when I was watching the video. Y'all realize that when she asked for the shot, right? Remember, y'all, she asked for the shot. Who gave her the shot? Who person that gave her the shot was who? Sharp. Remember, Sharp was the one that gave her the shot. Keep that in mind. And also to that as well, when I started to look into the history of Sharp on No Jumper, the misogyny, the anti-woman, that rhetoric and that pathology is there in terms of him. But it's all right. Y'all don't have to believe me. I can show you, but I can tell you. Let me run the clip. Let me continue. But remember, he's the one that gave her the shot. Y'all keep this in mind.
I know some
I know
smokers.
some drug addicts. I was about to say I know some drug addicts. Y'all don't act like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. So I mean, but the comparison is.
Podet Flacco says, if she pregnant, how she's sipping the shot? This was 2 weeks ago. But remember, look, here's the thing, Poetic Flacco. Remember, she said that she's emotional. She's either pregnant or it's her period. She didn't know. So, yeah, at the time, she didn't know. Because 2 weeks ago, on this clip, it said that, it could be my period, or because I have to express that or and focus on the or I might be pregnant. So she didn't know. Now I will say this. I think that if she had a feeling that it could be it, that could have been the case, she should have stopped drinking. I will say that. If you had a feeling that there's a possibility that you could have been carrying child and wasn't sure, then yeah, you should have stopped it. No shade. But I'm gonna let it continue.
I can see the comparison. I guess it's an ideal couple that people don't really approve of or agree with. So I guess
people love watching shit that they don't approve
right. They
of,
love
right?
it to keep tabs on it though.
They love it.
You actually just tweeted something about that.
They love to keep tabs on shit they don't like. About the show.
You just tweeted that
What
there
was
are
your tweet?
people
Can you
who.
quote it for us? What was your tweet?
I said, I love when I spot a motherfucker who said me and Rock doing the show is a bad idea, but they're watching full circle, like every episode. They're reporting on it. They're promoting us.
Who have you spotted?
Academics, for sure.
let y'all do something good though, they ain't gonna talk about you.
No,
they only want to talk about your bad shit.
They ain't gonna never
and I
post
think
that.
me and her, we've, you know, being in the media world today, like me and her experienced that kind of like.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
I get dragged every time I speak well on you guys.
Yeah.
somebody said,
but it's still a viral moment. You know, whether you get dragged or not, it's still a.
Right.
Yeah.
It brings in customers, so I see why people do it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they got to speak on the hottest topics at the time. So
my shit's been organic though, bro. Like I didn't do it like to.
Yeah, because you
keep
the same personality. Like,
yeah, like I didn't do it like for views because I know it's gonna be views. And I feel like that's for y'all too. Like I don't think y'all do it for views. I don't think y'all do it really for any of that. I think y'all motherfuckers just crazy together. Y'all just love each other.
Yeah, we just have a lot of moments. That's all.
Yeah,
we have a lot of moments. And see, the thing about you is you kind of like stand on your initial idea of it. And, you know, other podcasts and interviewers, they'll dick ride you in the beginning and then turn around.
I don't want to sneak nobody.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
now keep in mind, y'all. He said he don't want to sneak nobody, but let's also be very clear whether he knows it or not. Either this was a conscious or subconscious thing. He has been passive aggressive when it came down to Chrisean Rock. Now, y'all keep all of that in mind. Now, they did speak on DJ Academics, and what he said basically essentially was that, you know, with DJ Academics is that, you know, 1 minute he's cool and he liked me, next minute he's attacking me, bringing me down. I'm paraphrasing, y'all. That's not what he said exactly, but I'm paraphrasing it. You guys get the point. But y'all keep this in mind.
Sneaking
exactly. So in the beginning, it'll be like, oh, this the hottest artist out. He's this man. Speaking specifically at Academics right now. He'll suck my dick to this motherfucker come, and then later on fix his mouth. After he sucked my dick, fix his mouth to be like, oh, this is not a good idea. He must not have this. He must not have
He's
that.
and I'm gonna say this, Academics. You know, he's a very passive aggressive type dude because he's done that to me, he's done that to the No Jumper crew.
But he always eat his words later on.
Yeah, like he was like, I fuck with Sharp and I fuck with the whole crew, but then 2 minutes later he'd be like, I put my foot on all their chests.
Yeah, like,
bro, what is you talking about?
Pick a side, man. Like, it sounds crazy.
Like I call that passive aggressive.
Right.
Like you acting like you cool, nigga, but you really not cool. You really don't fuck with what we doing.
You waiting for your moment.
And you waiting for your moment, you know? But I get it though. Everybody got a job.
Here we go.
Everybody got a job, man.
About to get into it, y'all.
Is to be passive aggressive.
Yeah. Passive
That's
aggressive.
What I call it. Like, nigga, like, what are you saying? You're saying it without trying to say it.
Right.
Like, you know?
So the people want to know. We all just watch episodes.
Here we go. Okay, so now this is where, I got to do one or two things. I have to do thank you, loves. I really do appreciate for your contribution. I really do appreciate. Thank you. But now I'm gonna keep that in the background. Okay, so just to make sure at the end of the show I can shout you guys out. So now let me say this: that was just the beginning of the gaslighting and the subtle digs. Now this is where we're actually going to talk about the crazy in love situations. Now, just to give you guys a little backstory. Now, in terms of the Crazy in Love situation, remember, Crazy in Love is the actual show on Zeus Network that Chrisean Rock and Blueface are both the main characters and cast members of. It's their show. On the show, there was an incident where Chrisean Rock hit Blueface in the head, I want to say with a glass bottle. Something dense. I think it was a glass bottle. And so that was the big giant pulling, like, you know, I guess gravitational pull of attention for a lot of people. Like, oh my God, what's going on? What happened? So now this is when I'm going to say the gaslighting went to a whole new level. Let's get into it, y'all. Here we go. It was a Henny bottle. Let's get into it, y'all.
Can we know what happened in the moment that before the cameras arrived and your head was bleeding?
Yeah. So I mean,
Do we really get
it wasn't even that deep. I'm gonna just touch the surface. Like,
touch what surface?
You know, sometimes she has a day where she's feeling like
there you go
in her best. And some days she having days where
don't even touch the surface.
She's easily triggered. You hear me talking?
Papa,
do you hear me talking?
Can we not talk
yes or
about
no?
You
want me to embarrass you or not?
Why the fuck you want to embarrass me? That's
when
weird.
I'm talking, you shouldn't be talking.
That's weird. I don't want to talk about it.
So what did happen, Blue?
Thank you.
Okay, so let me just let you know what was going on here. So, as you guys can see, they're talking about the incident with the Hennessy bottle. Now, on the show, they wanted to, get clarity what happened, what was going on, because the thing that the consistent pattern, at least from my knowledge and for what I've seen of Zeus Network, they a lot of times they don't give a lot of context when it comes down to a lot of situations on the shows. So yes, like for Bobby Light show, people just be sitting there fighting, and they done fought in episode 2. And then on the season finale, you finally find out why they actually fought. Or sometimes you just might get lucky, find out at the reunion. And sometimes you got to find out on social media because Zeus Network completely just threw it out the window. So a lot of times you don't even get context. Now, so that's what prompted No Jumper, the cat, like the host and stuff, to ask the question to get the details. What's going on? Now, I said that, and let me say this. Blueface obviously wants to talk about it. Obviously, the host of the show wants to talk about it, but Chrisean does not want to talk about it. Now, the reason why she doesn't want to talk about it, and she's saying, do not speak for me. I'm right here. Do not speak for me. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the subtle, and I'm actually going to back it up a little bit. Back it up just a little bit.
Sometimes she has a day where she's feeling like
there you go
in her best. And some days she has days
you just know. Don't even touch the surface.
She's easily triggered.
And another part of that is that what he was saying, it was like, some days, she's good. The other days, she can just be wild and etc. I put my own little spice in there, y'all. But if you're going to talk about the situation, talk about the situation, but don't talk about the situation. And this is the issue that I had with it. Don't talk about the situation and leave out certain parts of the story. If you're going to talk about it, let's talk about it, and let's be for real, and let's be honest about everything that happened. But don't pick and choose certain parts of the situation you want to talk about. But it's all right. We're going to get into it. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Do you hear me talking? Yes or no? You want me to embarrass you or not?
Why the fuck you want to embarrass me? That's
when
weird.
I'm talking, you shouldn't be talking.
That's weird. I don't want to talk about it.
So what did happen, Blue?
Thank you.
What do you mean? What happened?
So she was having one of them days where it's like an easy fuse lit. And I was when we pulled up to the house, there was some white dude sitting on the stairs. So I'm fucking with him, like, oh, you look like this, you look like that, just fucking with him. She took it upon herself to trying to kind of defend him, like, why are you being mean to him?
What are you talking about? I thought you were talking about me, and then I called you a bitch. I said,
we gotta say what led up to that though. We can't just say that.
Fired off.
Why you say that to your man though?
Thank you.
That's your man.
Let's answer that.
Like, think about it. Don't you think that
okay, my man called me a bitch, so why?
Here we go. Now here's the thing. Now what they're about to do, they're about to get into the conversation of, what happened, and I want you guys to catch it. Chrisean is basically saying, and keep in mind, she's like low-key drunk as well. So Chrisean is saying that, if you're going to talk about it, well, throughout this whole interaction, if you're going to talk about it, just talk about everything. Don't talk about, quote unquote, what's only being shown on TV. Let's talk about every single thing. Just catch it. I want you guys to catch it because I caught all of it.
Why are you being a bitch? Like, why are you being a bitch?
Oh, yeah. And then we're going to get into the whole conversation of why call your man a bitch? And then we're going to get into the double standards of that. And then Sharp is going to he wants to press the issue of accountability. Now, this is when the gaslighting skyrocketed out the mother. Baby, let's get girl. I was flabbergasted.
bitch.
That's your man.
Okay, that's weird.
That's your man.
That's weird. If he call me a bitch, you're a bitch too. You're a bitch.
Weird.
You're a bitch too. You're a bitch too.
If he's
you're a
weird,
bitch too.
if he's
you're a
weird,
bitch too.
you're
a bitch too.
Can't get through to her, bro.
But if he's weird, why be
don't
with
call me a bitch if you don't want to be a bitch too.
You can't get through to her.
Don't
Oh,
call me a
sweetie.
bitch if you don't want to be a bitch
You don't think
too.
that demasculates your man, son?
You
When
don't
tell
think
him-
that?
You don't think that make him feel
My
loved?
nigga, are you listening?
I'm
You're just
listening.
talking for one person.
I'm listening.
You're not. You're talking
You're
for
talking
one person.
You're not
How?
listening because you're not even letting him talk.
Yeah,
But
let
you're
me do my
saying the
deal.
little
not-
man
you're
shit.
not
I can't.
having-
I get it. That's a thing.
So, yeah,
but it's not a thing.
She's not too good at
If
letting
you're
people
like
talk
calling
and
me a
then
bitch too,
responding. She kind of
he
just
could
like,
say this a double standard shit.
Well, Rock, explain yourself.
Fuck
pretty
that double
selfish.
standard.
What happened in that moment? Why did you call him a bitch?
Because I felt like I was played with, and then every time he felt like he played with, he called me a bitch. So
Every
if I
time I
can't call
hear
you a
you,
bitch,
always say he's
So
playing
you
with
feel
you.
like if
If
I
I
can't
feel like-
disrespect
if
you,
I feel
then
like
don't
I can't
You
disrespect
call you
always
a
playing
bitch.
with her. You ask her.
she's easily.
I watch it. You
triggered, bro.
always say he play. You be like, why you playing with me, my nigga?
Easily.
Why you always doing that
All right,
weird
cool. Yeah.
You say that,
Okay.
I
And if
watch
I
your
say a
shit.
bitch, she can say okay.
So now I want you to catch this because I ain't gonna put this in the notes. Now keep in mind that somewhere in this interview, I forgot if he said it in the beginning. I'm pretty sure he said it at the end. Now, at the end, he said this. He confirmed this was his first time coming in contact with Chrisean Rock. And even though he see her through the media, he wanted to give her a chance to meet her in person. That's what he said at the end of this interview. So basically alluding to the point to where, because he said even in media for himself, the way that people may view him through the media, it's not his true character in so many words. Because what you see through the media is not always the entire. It's not always the entirety of the person. Put it that way. Now, what he's saying right now is that just because I see you in the media saying that you always playing with me, that's always the truth. So, on one end, we shouldn't believe what we see in the media. On the other end, you want to use what you see in the media as a way to insert yourself in trying to hold her accountable on her calling her man a bitch. But it's all right. We're gonna get into it. Let's get more into it, baby.
Cool. Like if you could call me a bitch, I could call you a bitch back. Straight up.
What happens?
He don't feel that way, so we fought. That's that. Like what?
Did you learn anything from it?
What do you mean learn anything from it?
Other than getting a fight?
What do you mean learn anything from it?
By coming together
it's
with your man and
weird.
saying, you know what, baby, we're not gonna be on that anymore because I really do fuck with you and respect you. Church, I don't know if she really do at that point. If she gonna roll her eyes at
Nah,
it.
she's very.
If you're called a bitch by a nigga,
I should be able to call you.
and I can be able to call you a bitch back. But just because it's a double standard thing,
I think
that's unfair. Don't talk to me about the unfair shit.
We heard that.
Don't talk to me about the double standard shit.
Can you let them talk?
I'm done with
Always
that.
say this.
Okay. Well, hold on. I want to hear what Gina's about to say. What you about to say?
Because
I was
if
just
you're
gonna
called a
say
bitch and you make it common.
The perception is just different just because of how much we've seen you be the aggressor so much. So that's why people is looking at it.
I see like the aggressor.
That's why people is looking at it like you're just instantly the one that's the disrespectful one because of what people see you doing.
Think that I'm the
disrespectful? You are. Yes. We can.
So they're saying yes, but remember at the end of this video, he's going to say that I want to meet people because in the media, you don't always get a chance to see the entirety of the person or the situation. But yet right here, right now, you're trying to use what you see in a reality TV show. And to be completely honest, let's just call a spade a spade. In these reality TV shows, especially with Zeus specifically, if it's an hour slot, the show is probably going to be like 50-something minutes, 45-something minutes. And they're probably going to have like 10, probably 12 episodes. So essentially, if you want to round everything up, the whole season in its entirety, you're probably only going to have 12 hours. That's not even a full day. So realistically, you're not going to know everything that you see on a reality TV show, especially with Zeus, because all types of context, they throw out the window. So you want to use you want to use this stance of I see this on the show, so I'm going to use this as my point to say this. But yet at the end of the interview, you said, you know, I want to get to know Chrisean Rock and give her a chance because I understand even through the media with myself being on No Jumper, people can look at the show and read me completely wrong. But it's all right. Let's continue.
No, this is your intervention today. We tricked you.
Everybody tell her a real answer.
We tricked
you. This your intervention
today.
We tricked you. Well, okay, so right now, you see, he got the glasses up. Now he's fully jumping up out the window, in the words of Conscious TV. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Now, this whole thing about him talking about why call your man a bitch? But what Chrisean was calling out is the double standard. Is that, bro, when you feel, as in Blueface, when Blueface feel like he's being played with, he calls me a bitch. When I feel like I'm being played with, I'm calling him a bitch. Now, that does not mean that it's right, but it's the actual truth. Then, y'all pay attention to the question that Sharp asks.
That day, you called me a bitch for no reason.
Can y'all tell us what happened?
You got active and I got active back.
Let's stay on that day.
Like, what are you talking about?
Back and forth. So yeah, that day, like I said,
I'm about to let you.
I'm playing with the white dude. I'm playing with the white dude, whatever. And I guess she felt some type of way about, I don't know, about him. So she's like, man, leave him alone.
It's not even that. He keeps saying him.
I said, what?
Whatever he said, I thought he was talking about me. He kept saying, it was a miscommunication. Yeah, like he like.
Definitely not.
It had to be because I was like, oh yeah, you're a bitch for that. He like, ooh, wham. I wasn't even talking to you. I'm talking to the other nigga. Ooh, wham. Like, what are you talking about?
Rock, have you ever have you ever had a sober day?
Bam, right there. There we go.
Yes.
No, don't.
There we go. Right there. He's jumping out the window, asking Rock if she ever had a sober day. That's passive aggressive, and that's condescending. But let's continue, because right now he's jumping out right now he's like his body's halfway out, but eventually he gonna jump all the way out that bitch. He gonna be all the way out the window. And I want you guys to pay attention to the gaslighting nature of Blueface. Now, I'm not saying that Chrisean does not have no faults. I'm not saying that she's just this innocent motherfucker. I'm not saying that. But within this context of this interview, Sharp and Blueface, they did a lot of gaslighting. A lot of it. So all of a sudden, when it comes to Blueface, you don't want to speak for you want to answer questions when she's saying don't speak for her. But then if you notice, even when he's answering the questions, he takes majority of his time speaking about Chrisean instead of answering the questions for yourself. Hey, Purple Lover. Hey, K.O. Kane. Because, girl, your name be trying to be about to get me up out of here. But let's continue. And thank you, Voice of Reason, for your contribution. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, I'll listen to me. I'm being very cool.
You're not talking to me. You're not talking to me.
I'm being very cool, but you come in disrespectful. That's your fucking problem. Couldn't have been mine. You wouldn't have did half of that shit.
You're not really talking to me.
That's on Jesus Christ. You wouldn't have did that shit.
What happened?
You wouldn't have did none of that shit.
Now he's 75% out the window. And we don't need at the 15-minute mark. And you know what's crazy too? Is that when she was saying, you a bitch, you a bitch, you a bitch, she was pressing the issue that, sir, y'all could be able to call me a bitch, but then when I call you a bitch, now it's a problem. Y'all get ready, y'all.
Really talking to me. It's cool.
So Blueface was talking to somebody else.
You're not really talking to me. I can
liquor ain't no good for you.
I can drink liquor. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Look. Pay attention. It's a lot of stopping. It has to happen. Pay attention to what he's saying. Sharp is saying that now, since they're like going back and forth, when are you gonna have a sober day? Then not only that liquor's not good for you. it makes you toxic. Why would you call your man a bitch? And he's pushing this issue of accountability. Y'all pay attention to all of this.
The story. So the
toxic.
Got over 60,000 over my body. Like,
so
boy, you
what?
talking about all that weird shit. Like,
but you're still toxic.
Nigga, nobody's toxic.
You have 100,000 on your body.
If I feel the way I feel, I
We're
feel the
both
way
toxic.
I feel, nigga. If I feel disrespected,
You're
I
toxic.
feel disrespected.
That's your
You feel
man.
disrespected. You
That's
feel
your man.
disrespected.
That's your
Yeah, he's my man.
Not just
Okay,
a nigga
cool.
off the street.
This is the same nigga that will call me a bitch. So what do you mean?
What do you think?
What are you talking about?
Do you do something?
What are you
against
talking
that?
about?
Do you do
Oh,
something?
they didn't do.
Is there
Nigga, it's
anything
not even
happens?
that.
Do you
It's
feel like when he
if
calls
he
you
makes
one,
the
are you
bitch word
acting like
comment,
that?
Oh, there we go, right there. Bam. And now this is when the other foot came out the motherfucking window. Now, for the people who probably wasn't understanding all the previous gaslighting, and it was very subtle. Now he done completely went all the way out the window. Now both feet are planted on the grass. Now, whether that grass is green or brown, that's planted on the grass. He's out that bitch. He's out the window now. So now it goes from the accountability of calling your man a bitch. But then when Chrisean Rock talks about the double standard and brings up that he the same person that calls me a bitch. Now, instead of actually addressing them both insulting each other and addressing him calling her a bitch, now it turns into, and the goalpost wants to move to, when he does call you a bitch, don't you think that you're acting that way? It's most definitely giving. So what did you do to deserve that? What did you do to be called a bitch? It's not the fact that he did it, but what did you do to be called a bitch? But then yet, if we were to take that exact same conversation, he wouldn't go that exact same route. And by case in point, I mean this. When they're talking about the situation between Blueface and Chrisean and the bottle thing, he never asked, so Blueface, so what did you say or what did you do that made her call you a bitch or had you feeling like she should call you a bitch? Now, even though they already made it clear that there was a misunderstanding, but let's also be very clear as well. If things didn't happen that way, he never would have said that. But I'm going to continue. But keep in mind, y'all, remember, are you ever going to have a sober day, he said? Are you ever, you need to put that liquor down, it makes you toxic. Remember all of that. And also keep in mind, they're going back and forth. Keep in mind, pay attention.
I can't say it back without a fight.
You saying it should be justified.
When he called me a bitch, okay, cool. When I call him a bitch, it's a fight.
That shit ain't justified.
It's not justified.
Know how to talk to your man.
Crazy. Don't do that, woman.
It's not a woman shit, bro. She know what's going on, nigga.
I
pay attention to the language. Now all of a sudden they go bring in the feminism and the woman shit and bring in the submissiveness. I'm telling you, and this is what I mean right here. By the way, I already let y'all know it's gonna be a lot of pausing up in here. This is what I mean when I say that when you understand issues on like the social dynamic on societal issues, these issues also come with language. It comes with explicit language, and it also comes with very subtle language. I'm telling you, listen, so now they're introducing the woman. Now you're introducing, now he's going to be introducing feminism, and I don't know if he introduced feminism, but he introduced submissive and all these other things, and knowing how to talk to your man and stuff. Meanwhile, he calling her all types of bitches and hoes. So, and this is my thing when it comes down to this whole thing of knowing how to talk to your man, etc. Yes, that conversation does hold true, but in this specific conversation, sir, how are you, aka Blueface, going to be the leader, the patriarch of this family or this relationship? Because they can be completely honest, since he's the man and the patriarch, he's considered the leader. And the reason why he's considered the leader, because as of right now, if they were to get married, the children and also Chrisean Rock, she would take his last name. His last name. So how the hell are you going to be the leader of a relationship, a bond, in a tribe, and you're not walking and demonstrating such leadership responsibilities and character traits, but then yet you're gonna look at your followers, aka in their perspective, y'all. You're gonna look at your followers like your children, your followers if you look through the lens of a patriarchal gaze, the women, their girlfriend, their wife, you want them to talk to you in a very healthy way, but yet you're not demonstrating the exact same thing that you're asking for. Make it make sense. But let's continue. And pay attention. Blueface is loving that Chrisean is acting out. He's laughing and he's also talking, like kind of exposing. And here's the thing. When you're in a relationship with somebody, and this is the comment. Now, this has to do with the conversation of protecting your spouse or protecting the person that you're with. If you truly love that person, but I forgot this toxicity. But if you truly love the person, you don't expose them in front of America. Now, yes, they're both toxic to each other, but I'm gonna tell you the difference, and I'm gonna tell you the difference between why I feel a lot of people talk about Chrisean's trauma and stuff compared to Blueface. They talk about Chrisean's trauma is because, yes, even though they're both toxic to each other and they both hurt each other, Blueface, on the other hand, exploits it. Last time I checked, all of Chrisean's earnings and stuff go to who? Blueface. Last time I checked, anything business-wise that has to go with or talked about when it comes to Chrisean runs through who? Blueface. So there is an exploitative factor that also plays a part. But let me continue.
Understand that.
We're politicking.
Rock, I understand. I understand that, but we're also
that shit was hurting.
No, I understand. Wait, look.
So if I
No, go back because they said
understand that.
We're politicking.
Rock, I understand. I understand that, but we're
look. If you pay attention, Blueface talking about why you being so aggressive. Meanwhile, they've been gaslighting her the whole time. But why you being aggressive? They want to gaslight you and then use your response as a reason why they should be victims or be perceived as a victim, and why you're the perpetrator, the sole perpetrator, and why you're the victim in distress.
Also,
that shit was hurting.
No, I understand. Wait, look.
So if I
understand that.
Oh, and he exposed his hand. I want you guys to hear what Sharp said. He said, "It's good, bro. Let her be. That's the reason why you have her here." So remember, when I literally just said there is an exploit, the tactic of exploiting the trauma and behavior of Chrisean just played a part 2.5 seconds ago. Because Sharp just exposed and said this. It's all right, bro. Let her be. That's the reason why you have her here. Let's get into it. Okay, so he about to say it right now.
Rock, I understand. I understand that, but we're also
that shit was hurting.
No, I understand. Wait, look.
So if I
understand.
Did y'all hear it? Did y'all hear that? Let her be. Let her be. It's all good. That's the reason why we got her here. I'm gonna continue.
And
bitch,
that
you
part,
call me a bitch, and we're gonna fight because I called you a bitch.
You just can't listen to nobody.
I understand. If you call me a bitch, I should be able to call you a bitch back. However, you're still responsible for your response to that. And I don't think hitting him with glass was the correct response.
You hit him with glass?
Yeah.
That's not even what happened. Look,
my hand is cut up.
So that's what happened.
And I can't use my good hand.
So you gotta keep talking.
And if a nigga like play me, what do you mean, babe? What do we ready to say? If I'm about to be quiet and I'm about to be painted as the bad picture, that's cool. But if we,
I'm gonna tell you where Chrisean went wrong. I'm gonna tell you what she went wrong. She went wrong because come on, talk about it. But I'm gonna tell you what Chrisean went wrong. Chrisean went wrong because she's not articulate enough to really drive her point. And plus, on top of that, it does not help that, yes, she is intoxicated as well, too. So it doesn't help that she's intoxicated. And secondly, it does not help that she's inarticulate. To where she has valid points of what she's saying and what she's expressing, but she does not have the vocabulary and the wit to be able to withstand the verbal dialogue, to really just gather all three of them hoes up in a goddamn bunch. Blueface, Gina, and Sharp, just with a rubber band and all. Let's continue.
Finish the story and
I'm really cool with you.
You're not even telling the story. You're making it seem like I hit you first.
Getting warm.
Let's just not even talk about it if I ain't hit you first.
All right, so basically, she felt.
What you guys pay attention? So what Chrisean said. Now here's the thing. I pay attention to everything. What Chrisean said. She said that in so many words. It's no issue about us talking about the glass and etc. But if you're gonna talk about it, let's talk about all of it. What you're doing right now, you're literally making it seem like I hit you first. I have no problem with you guys talking about me hitting with a glass. I can admit that. But what you're doing right now is just because people didn't see you attack me first, or it was cut out of the TV show or etc. or happened before the cameras got there. You're acting like it never happened just because no one's seen it happen. And if you pay attention, he mumbled this. He said, because Chrisean Rock said this. She was like, like the problem is you're acting like I hit you first. And then he said, but he stopped himself. He said, no one even said. And then he went back. Let's continue. Let's listen to it.
I'm really cool with you.
You're not even telling the story. You're making it seem like I hit you first.
Getting warm.
Let's just not even talk about it if I ain't hit you first.
All right, so basically, she felt some type of way.
Oh, all right. Did I hit you first?
So she said, "You acting like
did I hit you first?"
I said, "Damn,
okay,
why you doing that?"
Hit you first.
So she had this little cut on her hand from weeks prior. She had to cut herself, and I knew that was a sensitive spot for her. So I said, "Hey, watch your mouth." And I squeezed her in.
No, pay attention. Oh, pay attention to this because I want you guys. Because I clocked it. Now, he literally just said that when they had a little dialogue or whatever, and she got slick with him, called him a bitch or whatever. Remember, Chrisean Rock's hand was cut. Remember, the hand was cut. He said he knew that was a sensitive spot for her. And he just said out his mouth, he touched that spot and squeezed it and said, watch your mouth. Later on in the dialogue, he said he didn't do nothing. So I'm like, okay, so either one you did. So which one is it? You didn't do anything, or did you squeeze her hand with the glass, with the cut where the cut was, just to cause her pain? So which one was it? So which one is it? I'm gonna rewind it because I want to make sure you guys hear this.
So she had this little cut on her hand from weeks prior. She had to cut herself, and I knew that was a sensitive spot for her. So I said, "Hey, watch your mouth," and I squeezed her in, and she just turned up instantly, like, "Oh no, whoopty whoop wham!" And so she started coming on to me, and so yeah, that's how that happened. So as she coming on to me, I'm like, deflecting, obviously wrestling with her.
Next, can we go to the next one?
Once you
now you heard that, right? You heard that, right? You heard that, right? He literally just said, I'm gonna reiterate, because baby, we doing foreplay with this baby. Foreplay. I knew she cut her hand some weeks prior. So I touched her hand and I squeezed it, said, stop playing with me. Then she went insane. They start coming at me. I start deflecting. But then later on, he gonna say he ain't do none of that. I'll just catch it.
Realized she couldn't beat me. She went outside. She went for a walk. She came back with a glass cup in her hand. I kid you not. I locked the fucking sliding door. I'm like, all right, she finna come do some fried shit. She went for a walk. She came back with a glass cup. I locked the door on her.
Where the
She
shot at?
like, open the door. I'm like, come on, you know I'm a
Can you
crip.
give it
I
to me?
ain't
Or I'm
finna
about to
like,
walk out and give it.
no, you know, I opened the door.
Pass me
Boom.
that cup over there, Church.
Open the door. Boom. She started coming close to me with that glass. I'm like, oh, I know she finna hit me with this glass, right?
Here we go. Look, here we go. I need you guys to clock everything. It's like 20,000 things going on here. I need you guys to clock it with me. Clock it with me. Clock it with me. Now, Blueface and Sharp are both gaslighting the hell out the situation. Now, Rock is all Rock is saying is that Blueface is acting like he didn't hit me first, even though he just admitted that he did actually, you know, was the first one to actually lay hands. But then later on, he's gonna say he didn't. But he actually just admitted he laid hands. Now, you paid attention to Rock's response. Rock's response was, can I have a shot? Can I have a shot? Remember, in the genesis of this live, of this video specifically, remember she kept saying that you pay attention to when she first got annoyed by the underground comment, and she was like, what are y'all talking about? Can I have a shot? Now, once again, she's annoyed again. And now she's saying, can I have a shot? And then she further on, then I'm assuming someone in the background was looking at her like, no. Then she said, either that or I'm going to walk out. And then guess what happened after that? Pay attention. Blueface not listening. Gina's not listening to our knowledge because we can't even see Gina. Gina's not listening. But Sharp, the person she's been getting into it with, wants to make sure that he keeps Chrisean there and make sure that she has alcohol. But 2.5 seconds ago, you said that the alcohol that makes her toxic. When is she ever going to have a sober day? But then yet you want to make sure that she has that alcohol. Let's get into it, y'all.
She came back with a glass cup. I locked the door on her.
Where the shot
She
at?
like, open the door.
You see?
I'm like, come on, you know I'm a
Can you
crip.
give it
I
to me?
ain't
Or I'm
finna
about
like,
to walk out and give it.
no, you know, I opened the door.
Pass me
Boom.
that cup over there, Church.
Open the door. Boom.
Pass me that cup over there, Troy. That's what Sharp said.
She started coming close to me with that glass. I'm like, oh, I know she finna hit me with this glass, right?
As you hear him, he said, oh, you want some more liquor?
I'm like, hold on.
No, I just
She don't need nothing. She good. She good. Don't baby
I'm
her.
just trying to
That's
make
gonna
sure
make it
she
worse.
good.
What do
Hey,
you mean,
I can
baby?
handle
Don't
it,
give her
bro.
too much
What do
attention.
you
It's gonna
mean,
make it worse.
baby?
So look,
What do you mean too much?
Don't give her too much attention. It's gonna make it worse. Meanwhile, y'all gaslighting her. Got you.
Attention. Why are you doing that? I'm not against you right now. Stop being like that. We
can I
just
say
not
something
talk
on
about
this?
this
Is like
fucking
being your
stupid
worst
ass.
interview ever. Like usually you cool. You like
I'm
player.
cool.
Now you just being like
How?
overly
Because
obnoxious.
because you're
It
trying to say
doesn't
I
matter.
started
It
it.
doesn't
Like
matter.
nigga, like
Look.
I hit you first. I didn't hit you
I
first.
wish you
Don't
knew-
say that.
I wish you knew that your
Let me
response
hit you
to stuff
first.
means more than what somebody did first or second. Your response speaks for you.
Okay, but I didn't.
What happens first
So now
has nothing to do with you. Your response.
you see right here. Pay attention to what he's saying. So now that when Chrisean is like, okay, cool, we can talk about me in the glass and all the other stuff, but then yet he wants to deflect, catch on to the deflective tactic. The deflective tactic is what I'm about to sum it up. Oh, you know, like we don't have to talk about, like, it doesn't matter about who hit first and who hit last and who hit second. Is that your response, referring to Chrisean, your response, you know, like just about you have to take accountability for your response. Anything else has nothing to do with you. But however, in all actuality, with that specific tactic that he just utilized, baby, everything else was swept up under the rug.
Because you're trying to say I started it. Like nigga, like I hit you first. I didn't hit you first. Don't say that.
I wish you knew that your
Let me
response
hit you
to stuff
first.
means more than what somebody did first or second. Your response speaks for you.
Okay, but I didn't.
What happens first or second has nothing to do with you. Your response is what just throws you off the fucking
Did
shit.
you hear them what they say though?
Did I say I hit you first?
It's not even that.
Did
Did
I
you
say
hear
you
what
hit me
they
first?
said though?
No, you didn't say that. No, that's the thing. You didn't say it. You're running with that. You're allowing them to run with the narrative that you did absolutely nothing. Even though in this interview, you basically said that you were the first one that actually laid hands technically.
Fuck what they said.
Yeah,
They wasn't there.
About
We're
who hit
talking
who
to
They're
first.
not worried
them.
about what exactly.
Oh. So now Sharp saying fuck about who hit who first. Once again, Chrisean is saying is that we can talk about the glass thing, but let's talk about all of it. What's included in the Zeus network on footage and what's been cut out, edited out of the footage. Let's talk about it all. And to think about and to actually get in this space and to for me and Blueface, if I was Chrisean, me and Blueface to know exactly what happened in that moment, and the fact that that moment was not shown on Zeus in its entirety, and people don't know that you, which you just admitted, touched her hand of the cut that she had, that you knew was painful, pressed on it, squeezed it, and none of the hosts are picking that up. And you see it in this atmosphere that Sharp already addressed and made it clear. Oh, don't worry about it, bro. Let her be. That's the reason why we got her here. Okay, cool, got you.
Okay.
So let's get the story straight.
Okay.
Instead of going, what you said is
Fuck what they said.
Okay, so
Fuck what they said. I'm saying, like, if they're saying what they're saying.
Fuck what they saying. If we saying fuck what they saying, why are you saying what they saying?
Because we're interviewing with them, and you was agreeing with the same niggas we saying fuck what they saying. What you saying? You just say fuck them.
Not making no sense.
How I'm not making no sense?
So she came back with a cup.
Yeah, she came back with the cup. I'm like,
Now all of a sudden, she's not making no sense. But you know what you're doing. You're allowing them to run with this narrative that's not even fully true. Yes, it's true. I hit you with a glass bottle, a Hennessy bottle. But also what was true was how that Hennessy bottle, how he led up to that. The thing about it, he wants to skip all the way to the beginning when he was talking about the white guy and Chrisean understood that, he wasn't talking about her and they got into it, but he's leaving out the part that he actually played when actually laying hands on each other. She admitted, I called him a bitch. He calls me a bitch. Reason being because whenever he feels like I'm trying him, I'm all types of bitches. Whenever I feel like he's trying me, he's all types of bitches. But now all of a sudden, we have a third party by the name of Sharp that wants to add this morale or have this morale approach about you must not talk to your man like that and yada 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 yada. But yet you want to be the patriarch and the leader of this tribe, girlfriend, wife, etc. And you want to be the leader of said such tribe, but yet you're not demonstrating the exact actions and character traits that you're asking from your tribe members and followers if you look through the gaze of a patriarchy. Like, hey, I want you to respect me and not call me a bitch, but when I get mad, you're going to be all types of bitches and hoes. What sense does that fucking make? Now, this would be different if he always was respectful to Chrisean. Then I'd be like, okay, girl, like, you know what you like. Come on, bro. Like, what? Then he will have some type of room. But you can't ask somebody to do something that you're not doing at all.
I'm gonna do this.
Respect is a two-way street, not a one-way. If the car can go forward, it can go backwards.
Open the door. Start acting like she's finna hit me with the cup. I'm like, bro, if you hit me with this cup, like it's gonna go up. Like, don't do that. So I kind of like turned to the side and I did. She threw a cup right at my head. Boom! It went up.
I want to speak on some.
It's not even. Why we gotta?
I'm not even talking about.
Shit?
I'm not talking about that. Can I speak?
It's talking about some money.
Give me 2 seconds. I used to look at women like this. They used to be able to beat us emotionally. Now they want to try to fight us physically.
Now, like I said, remember, y'all, I told you that he done jumped out the window at this point. So now, at this point, he done dug a hole in the ground, bitch. So in the beginning, he was in the window. Then his body was halfway out the window. Then after that, he got both of his feet on top of the grass outside the window. At this point, he done grabbed the fucking shovel and dug a hole in that bitch. Now, this is when he's actually going to go on his woman rant. Him and Blueface. And now this is the foundation and the root of why everything's happening the way that it's actually happening. As in the way that they're responding, the way that and I would say even in the later on in the interview, which you guys are going to see. When they're having a conversation, once Chrisean Rock is actually taken out of the facility, Sharp gonna be doing most of the talking, and he's the host, and Blueface is gonna be just sitting there. When it should be the other way around. Blueface needs to be talking. Every single time Gina asks Blueface a question, Sharp mouth fly open. But this also what we mean when we say about the misogyny and the patriarchy, etc., is because you take up for each other regardless of who it is. And this is the reason why we see people take up for Tory Lanez, even though we know he was dead ass wrong. People try to 100% deny the actions of R. Kelly fully. Now, some of those things can be questioned. But to fully deny all those things, play with somebody else. And this is what I mean too. Like, women, y'all need to start getting on code, because they keep showing y'all the code that they go by on a daily.
I'm not talking about that. Can I speak?
It's talking about some money.
Give me 2 seconds.
Now he goes on his woman rant. And now this is the foundation of why he's reacting the way that he does on the show, and why he's reacting to Chrisean and always trying to hold her accountable. And this is the reason why I do not like that accountability word, because people like to use it as a way, as like a filler, a positive filler, but the actual action of their version of accountability is really to blame. Because it's funny that when it comes to accountability, you only want to hold Chrisean accountable, even though we're both aware that they're both toxic to each other. And the reason, here's the thing. Everybody has a perspective and a perception, but the issue that actually takes effect is that a lot of people's perception can be blurry and they can be blinded because of their bias, which also is one of the psychological reasons why people aren't really holding context, why you're not hearing out the other side, the reason why you're not even to hold another person, and this word is a buzzword, accountable, because you have that bias, aka what Sharp and Blueface are going to show you, that they are in brotherhood together and catch game and catch code.
I used to look at women like this. They used to be able to beat us emotionally. Now they want to try to fight us physically. You can't beat us physically, but y'all knew what y'all could do was beat us emotionally. Y'all knew how to hit us where it really hurt, on the inside. Exactly. Women don't even do that no more. It's immediately external. Bow, I want to hurt you physically.
Sharp, look,
but you can hurt us really mentally and emotionally, but they don't. It's like women have lost that.
Sharp, this is what it is. It's that equality shit. Just how you see how they agree. Oh, if you call me a bitch, I should be able to call you a bitch too.
Then take what comes with
how
that.
How is that so if you have a vagina and I have a penis?
We were taught to take off.
Here we go. And this is the fuck shit of it all. I know for a fact I would not be able to monetize this video as much as I'll be cursing. This is the fuck shit of it all. And let me actually bring this down for 2.5 seconds. This is the fuck shit of it all. It's the equality stuff. Now I'm telling y'all, when you allow motherfuckers to speak, they're gonna show you who the fuck they are. And this is another reason why, and queer men are also included in this. Whenever I'm interested in somebody, I think they're cute, or I have a friend and we're just getting to know each other, I ask certain questions because I want to see where your mind is at. I'll ask about certain topics just, just to spark up conversation, but I'm trying to see where your mind is at. Oh, it's that equality stuff and the equality. So why wouldn't you want women to have equality? Not power, but equality. Why would you want, girl? I said I wasn't gonna do this, but let me do this because, girl, they done got me. They didn't got me up to here. So let me do this. You already know how I'm coming, y'all. Y'all already know. Here we go. Here we go. What is bad boy at? What is bad boy at? Here we go. Girl, I wish I had this other thing up so I can, let me do this. Now, let me go back to the beginning though. Now, girl, go back. Now, this is right here. The 10 major causes of failure in leadership. Now, this has to do, now this is from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And this has to do with you wanting to be a leader, or the AKA the patriarch within a patriarchy. So if you want to be a leader, these are the reasons why people will always fail at leadership. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but I will be reading this right here. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to read this. It said, the leader who fears that one of his followers, now keep in mind, the followers would be who? The family. That would include women and children. If you actually look through the perspective or the perception, or have the perception of through a patriarchy, the men or the patriarch must be the leaders of the tribe. So the leaders, the patriarch, who fears that one of his tribe members may take his position, is practically sure to realize that fear sooner or later. The able leader trains understudies to whom he may delegate at will any of the details of his position. Only in this way may a leader multiply himself and prepare himself to be at many places and give attention to many things at one time. It is an eternal truth that men receive more pay for their ability to get others to perform than they could possibly earn by their own efforts. An efficient leader may, through his knowledge of his job and his magnetism of his personality, greatly increase the efficiency of others and induce them to render their more service and better service than they could render without his aid. The fear of competition of your followers. And this will also go to the conversation right here of when men have an issue with women making a certain amount of money. Making a certain amount of money. Why would you, I think there's another one up in here somewhere. Why would you not want your tribe members not to be great? Why wouldn't you want your tribe members to have equality? Why? Why wouldn't you want your tribe members to have equality? Why? So let me just take this down for 2.5 seconds. And let me get back to the video. Because, girl, now that it got me activated. That really just pissed me off. Even though I already have seen it. But let's continue.
People that call us bitches, right?
They're not.
They're not.
Their friends can call them, hey, bitch.
Here we go.
Put the word bad.
I want y'all to pay attention.
I have a vagina and I have a penis.
We were taught to
because I have a vagina, because you have a vagina, I have a penis, so that's why we'll never be equal. I think it's very interesting that a lot of times when we get into these conversations about equality and within the conversation and the dynamic of the sexes, a lot of times men love to go to the have the hierarchical standpoint, but yet, especially black or melanated men, they don't want to hear that hierarchical standpoint when it has to do with race. They don't want to hear that. But then, yeah, when we enter different conversations within society, you don't want to hear the higher, or you don't want to hear out the hierarchical standpoint perspective when it has to do with non-melanated men being treated better just because they have a distinction between you and them because of race. And just because of that distinction that they can't help, you can't help, no one controls their skin tone or complexion. So with you being judged on something that you can't control and they can't control, and it gives you the inability to have the same opportunities, but yet they're given the privileges, you don't want to hear that. But then yet, when it comes down to the between the dynamic of the genders and the sexes, and when people come out, like when people are born, they can't control what body parts that they have. That's the reason why transgender people do exist. Because yes, you may be born with certain body parts, as in when it comes to the sexual anatomy, but that does not define you. You can't help that. That's the reason why intersex people exist, because you can't control the way that you come out. That's the reason why cisgender people, women and men, exist. It just so happens they're comfortable with everything that with the birth process and how they came out. So now when you want to take that exact same stance of a hierarchical standpoint perspective, but then you want to use the distinction between the sexes, something that you can't help, she can't help. And even let's just go a step further. And even when they go to change those things, there's still inequality. So even when you have a woman or a female that just so happens to be transgender and transitions into a man, there's still inequality. So with all of that being said, don't try to use the hierarchical, take the hierarchical standpoint and use that perspective if you're not going to be consistent with it all. No shade. Let me continue.
Call on people that call us bitches, right?
They're not.
They're not.
Their friends can call them, hey, bitch, what's up?
Put the word bad.
It's a flawed double standard.
It's a flawed double standard. Okay, girl. What you guys, girl? I gave y'all a one. It's gonna be a whole bunch of. And girl, we only had 20 minutes. Oh, told you this is gonna be a long video, y'all. Now I'm not watching this whole thing, so don't worry about that. But here's the thing. I want you to pay attention to how both of them, and because people like to conflate these things, these issues, these conversations. You know, hey, when we call you a bitch, it's, you know, it's bad and all of this and yada 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 yada. But then, you know, when y'all call each other bitches, hey, what's going on, bitch? How you doing, bitch? Hey, bitch, yes, bitch. And this is where my IQ begins to drop even further in this conversation. Reason being is because everything has context, sir. Thank you, Voice of Reason. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything has context. So, you saying the word bitch in a disrespectful manner is different than a woman, or I'm going a step further. Even queer people saying the word bitch as a term of endearment. Case in point. Name one time a heterosexual cisgender man walked up to a woman and was 100% serious, and I'm not talking about joking. 100% serious, and like, yes, what's going on, bitch? Yes, bitch. Yes, bitch. and was not trying to be funny and was being genuine about it? Name it. Put it in the comment section. Put it in the chat. Name it. You can't. Case in point, name a time with a heterosexual cisgender woman or queer people when they talk to each other, say, yes, bitch, yes, you ate that bitch up, yes, bitch, and was 100% serious. Name it. I bet you this time you have a plethora of examples. Everything has context. The same reason why everybody in this group saying the N-word nigga is different than a white person saying, or a non-melanated person saying nigga. It has difference in context. Now, I also think it was very interesting as well, too. Now, let me bring this down. Make sure I ain't breaking stuff. I also thought it was interesting as well that, what's his name? That Sharp was trying to take that stance. Because I'm like, sir, you're not that dumb. You're not. I may not be 100% familiar with the No Jumper platform. The only person I really know on there is Sharp because of this. Well, I knew of him, but I finally just put a name to the face. Sharp and Poetic Flacco. Those are the only two that I know of. So I'm not familiar with the platform. But with me having the opportunity to finally put a face and a name together, there was a time where Sharp got on a non-melanated woman for saying the N-word. And you said specifically that since we're melanated, black and brown, we can say the N-word. You can't. So which means that you understand context, which means that you and Blueface are being intentional. Let me continue.
That's just what it is. It's just a flawed double standard.
Listen, Gina, there's plenty of those that work in favor of you guys, right?
Yes.
Such as dealing with women, such as hitting a man, such as...
No, I don't agree with hitting a nigga. I don't play with domestic violence. But I'm saying,
regardless, if you hit me or if you hit me, it's going to be looked at as like a joke. If I hit her, people are going to really feel like...
Well,
you're the aggressor, you're the abuser.
Right.
So I've said before that I have an issue. Hold on,
Gina. Just like you said, it's a flawed. You guys have way more of those in y'all favor.
Yeah.
So why you can't take one?
I done took
and these are conversations that you must understand things from a historical context. It's more than just one, sir. We're talking about the system of patriarchy, the toxicity of it, because there's nothing wrong with patriarchy, but this version of it. And keep in mind too, in this video, you're going to see the patriarchy that I'm referring to. But don't worry. The issue is that it's this version of patriarchy that we're referring to. When you understand things from a historical context, you're able to understand the power dynamics. There's a reason why that in this society, non-melanated people can't do certain things, and why melanated people can do and say certain things, because there's a distinction and a difference in the power dynamic. There's a reason why. I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't want to go on a whole rant. Let's continue.
Laundry bag full
one flaw, double standard.
I took a laundry bag full of bitches. That's why I said I understand what she's saying.
Bro, y'all have so many flawed favors.
I just don't agree with what happened, but I understand what she's trying to say. Do I agree with her calling you a bitch? No.
I get what she's saying too, but in closing of that,
not like that, but I don't agree.
In closing of that, we were taught that when you get called a bitch.
But here's the thing, like, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to. But here's the thing. The thing is that she's not even upset about the bitch thing. She's not even upset. She's bringing it to the light. Like, okay, I don't see what the fuck the issue is. He calls me all types of bitches. Yeah, I get mad, but then, bitch, I just come right back and I come with the bitch. But yet, it's Sharp, the one making it a big issue. Well, why would you talk to him like that? How dare you? You're not supposed to say bitch. You're not supposed to think about that man like that. We're not supposed to say bitch. Girl, let's continue.
This is the thing. If we continue the pattern with a guy, at some point we got to be the person to say, let's stop it.
Lay down.
Oh, let me continue. Girl, let me go back. Ooh.
Continue the pattern with a guy, at some point we got to be the person to say, let's stop it.
Lay down. You got to be submissive.
I know your mama.
Oh, yes. And this is the exposing and jumping out the motherfucking window. So, if things are going left and right, things are not going perfect. They're at war saying certain things. Yes. This right here. I pay attention to verbiage because verbiage lets me know what context you're using certain words in. It lets me know what energy is this certain things are coming from. So you're going to say out your mouth, well, she's going to say, pick me Isha, she's going to say, which I do agree to a certain extent, but even with that conversation, things have context. So to a certain extent, yes, at some point, someone has to be willing to stop. But there's context to that. The context that Chrisean is speaking of is that, okay, I have no problem with the whole bitch thing because we call me a bitch. It is what it is, bitch. We just cuss each other the fuck out. And if it go there, it go there. If it don't, it don't. But the fact that you just expect women to just lay down. All of them just expect women to just lay down. That's crazy. But I digress. Let me continue. And be submissive. When I tell you these are the triggering language, them buzzwords.
Taught you that, like, hey, well, if you call somebody a bitch, you just got to be prepared for what comes after that. People taught me that shit. Straight up, you call a grown-ass man.
So he says that when you be, girl, I said I was not going to be, I do not want to keep pausing this. You say you call somebody a bitch, you got to be prepared for what happens after that. But Chrisean is not the one bitching and crying about what happens after the fact. She's the one saying that, bitch, if it go there, it go there. We just going to have to beat each other the fuck up. If anybody's bitching and crying about being called a bitch, it's not Chrisean. It's y'all. But then yet, throughout this whole thing, y'all only wanted to push the idea of being emotional, even though she did admit it. Y'all only want to push this idea or this image of her the only one being emotional. Emotions can be expressed a multitude of ways. And you're going to see what I mean by that. Let's continue. And this time, I try not to stop so much. I'm going to try.
You call a grown-ass man a bitch.
Will it come after that? It's me calling.
Sharp,
By the time I get to calling a nigga a bitch, I'm already done.
Hold on, Gina, Sharp. So this day that we fought with this cup, she called me a bitch first. Ask her about what made her call me that. Ask her.
Because I felt like playing with, like whatever he said.
How so? What I said?
I don't really remember.
Just tell him, don't play with me, my nigga.
She don't remember.
You can tell him like that, like, don't play.
And so now this is another deflective measure as well. Another deflective measure as well. Because here's the thing that gets me. Another deflective measure as well. When people start to do the cite game, they want you to cite exactly what they said. Knowing this shit happened like some time ago. But they want you to cite exactly what they said. And since you cannot cite exactly what they said, even though everything did transpire, everything actually did happen, even though you can't actually cite exactly what they said, but you know that things escalated because they said something slick out their mouth, all of a sudden it didn't happen. Okay, cool.
Play with me before we really get into it.
Don't play with me. I'm finna trip.
Hey, I can feel that.
We're talking and shit, and then the way you talking is like weird, like you just disrespecting me. So I'm like, yo, why you being a bitch? She like, oh yeah, and I'm like,
But you just, but wait, hold on. But you just said if I call you a bitch, you should be able to call me one back, right? Is that don't think for a woman right now.
Listen, don't think for a woman right now.
That's what she said, right?
Without repercussions.
Recordings just
got. Yeah.
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now.
Yes.
Okay, so if I don't call you a bitch first and you call me one first,
that's wrong.
He can say, "Hey, it's cool when you say you're
how is it wrong?"
It's cool.
But once again, remember, y'all, earlier in this video, remember what he said. And this is what I mean, the manipulative tactics. Remember in the video, he said this. She had a cut on her hand that she cut herself weeks prior. Hold up, y'all, 2.5 seconds. So he said this. She had a cut on her hand because she cut herself weeks prior. We heard that here. I wanted to make sure I emphasized everything that y'all heard, and I heard. She cut herself weeks prior. She had a cut on her hand. I was squeezing her hand where the cut was and said, "Stop playing with me." Now, all of a sudden, you don't want to mention that. Now, all of a sudden, you ain't talk about that. And the fact that Chrisean is inarticulate and she really can't really gather the way that I need her to, and really gather them, because right now they're gaslighting. All three of them. Now, homegirl, Gina, she may not be like completely in it, but she exposed her hand later on in this live too. But it's all right.
Cool when you say you're my bitch, but when you be like, bitch,
So,
chill out.
he ready to
Whoa.
he called me a
But is it
bitch.
cool when he say you?
But it's called context, sir. It's called context. That's the reason why if a black person say my nigga, oh, what's going on, my nigga? What's going on? Versus a white non-melanated person being like, you, yeah, it's called context.
My bitch.
She basically saying you shouldn't have got mad at it.
Are you cool?
Yeah.
Rock, are you cool with him?
Why did you get mad?
Saying my bitch.
Well, but you just catch the. There's so much going on. It's like it's trying catching it all, catch it all. So, and because I didn't even catch this the first time, good thing I caught it right now. So when Gina said that, basically what Chrisean's saying is you shouldn't get mad at it, and Chrisean like, yeah. Blueface said, why not? But then 2.5 seconds ago, Sharp was saying that basically telling Chrisean, you should not get mad if we call you a bitch. But the fact that Chrisean is basically saying, bitch, I'm not mad. Y'all are the ones getting mad. And you keep in context, Sharp and Blueface is over here being a yes man. Yeah. It's saying that you should not call your man a bitch. Why are you calling your man a bitch like that? You're going to emasculate him like that? It sounds like you guys are the ones with the problem, not her.
Bitch.
Why not?
I don't know. I didn't call you a bitch.
Why not? Why shouldn't have I got mad at it if I didn't call you a
It's just a
bitch?
whole trip.
You were calling me a bitch any other time when you come
We're not talking about any other time though.
I'm saying when you're mad, when it's your time and you feel like you want to feel, you say bitch. I felt like
So
when
you
I
were
wanted
mad?
to feel,
You were mad?
and what I wanted to say, and I was upset with you, I called you a bitch.
So why did you why did you hit him with the cut?
What?
Why did you hit him with the cut?
What do you mean? Why did I hit him with a cut?
That's
Yeah,
how
why
you
you
thinking
even with
about
the-
it because you ain't even got the truth on you. That's why you repeated it. You think I don't know?
Bro, she's
You a
so
hell of a
bullshit.
babysitter, bro.
I'm telling you.
You good as hell. Whoa.
I'm telling you,
Whoa,
see,
why you
look,
do that, baby?
that type of shit.
I'm listening.
Come correct.
Couple drinks after that, you're gonna be like,
Come correct.
you're not even gonna think about it.
What'd you say?
No, because you had repeated. You was like this. Why did I hit him with a cup? I thought you was gonna come off because such and such, such and such.
I didn't hit him with a cup because the nigga want to, like, yeah.
I'm
Show
saying
that we're fighting.
She's so intoxicated, she can't even gather her sentences to be able to really bring her point in.
Something so
You said your hand was fucked up? You said your hand was injured?
Yeah, so yeah. I hit him with a cup. What's up? What are you saying?
That's very violent.
Okay.
Just hit him with a cup, but if you guys once again are free, I'm gonna keep saying this throughout this live because y'all, the people gonna keep remembering this. But remember, he was touching the cut, and he was the one that laid hands first. Don't forget that part.
Injure your hand with a cup. What's up?
So let's get violent.
Rock.
Violent. Let's get violent.
I thought you loved him.
I love him, but if you want to get
What if
violent,
one day you actually hurt him and he's not here with us no more?
She don't get
Rock, can I act?
It's just, I think it's funny that once again, they're making it about that, but wasn't he just whooping on her ass? She literally had black eyes and everything else too. But once again, the accountability is only being given to her instead of both of them. They're both toxic to each other. They both lay hands on each other.
Can I ask you a question?
That's not cool. That's
You want to get violent?
bad, bruh.
Violent.
Can I ask you a question?
Straight up.
So
it's the life we
You're
chose.
saying you're bad.
No, I said that's bad. I'm not
That
saying
mentality.
you're bad.
I'm saying the mentality.
I said that's bad. No, but are you supposed to sit there and always try to be the prove man, bitch? You don't have to prove everything.
And I also think it's very interesting too, because isn't he the same person? Let me actually train this down, girl, because now we fit. Isn't he the same person that every time women get into their spaces, he always has to demean them and disrespect them? But isn't he the same person that literally said 2.5 seconds ago? And this is what I mean with the contradiction. This is the reason why you have to let people speak, because they contradict themselves like a motherfucker. He the same person that said you shouldn't have to always have to prove yourself. But then, yeah, 2.5 seconds earlier, he literally just said that us as men, we're told that whenever anyone calls us a bitch, it's supposed to result in violence. That's what he said. So remember, you're not always supposed to prove yourself. So what's the big issue? She's not mad about being called a bitch. Y'all are. So make it make sense and follow your own advice. Continue.
Yeah. There's nothing to prove.
I don't want to prove shit.
You did by hitting him with a cup.
Because I have a right to express myself, nigga.
With a cup, getting hit? That's expressive.
Yeah, my hand's fucked
Good
up.
Lord.
I can't hit you with my right hand.
I can only imagine what shit like she feels like getting
hold on.
real.
Trying to tell you, man.
I'm scared right now.
It's to the point where it's like you have to contest that. You feel me? Like not
So you got stomped on?
not a stranger. I'm saying it's to the point where it's like as a man, you're gonna feel like you have to go there. The walk off. Mic drop. It's bad, fool. Tell you it's bad.
It's not bad.
The gaslighting of it all.
Let's skip to the next subject.
Ooh, girl.
All right, so tell it straight up. Don't be like
Let's tell it straight up.
There she go again. There she go. Wait, there she go again. There she go again. She's under stress. She's being gaslit. And what's her response? She went to go get the Hennessy.
Let's be a little bit more respectful.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to really be respectful.
Keep
like
you're not.
like my nigga, like
You're not trying to be respectful. You're trying to gaslight.
Take off on you.
Because I can. I'm not. Because I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Don't talk at me. Talk to me.
Okay, look. I can feel your
energy. I fuck with you when you first walked in.
Yeah, but I can feel your energy.
I meant that.
I can feel your energy.
But I don't lie.
What you're doing, you're trying to respect him because he's a man. You're not getting it.
There she go.
I still respect.
There she goes. There she goes. She's calling it out. She's calling it out because that's really what's going on here. That's really what's going on here. That's really what's going on here. She's calling it out. She sees it. Even though she may be a little intoxicated or fully intoxicated, she even sees it because she's the one experiencing it. But also keep in mind the environment that you're in. You're in a misogynistic environment. So with the misogyny and stuff, once again, everybody has their perception. And with people's perception, it can become blurred because of a bias, a misogynistic patriarchal bias. So all this gaslighting, they may see it, but they may not pay attention to it, or they may sweep it up under the rug and not pay attention to it. Or they just might not see it because they automatically have a bias. And they're paying attention to the reaction that Chrisean is giving. Instead of the passive aggressive that he's demonstrating, the victimhood with quotation marks that Blueface is expressing, and the representation of how a real woman should react and act in situations, aka Gina. So when you add all those things together, it's like, girl, I see everything. I see it.
Cool. But if you can hear me out,
I am, but you're just like, fuck out of here, my nigga.
That'd be
that
cool.
shit ratchet.
Go ahead. What do you want to say? What do you want to say, Rock?
That shit just changed the whole mode.
Trying to disrespect you.
Nobody disrespect you one time.
So what is it?
You did.
What is it?
The fuck?
The cups. We're talking about the cups.
It's not Hennessy. I'm talking.
But I'm saying, listen,
I would love for her to just be on
Right. So
I start sipping some rose.
You see, but it's funny that everybody talking about the Hennessy this, Hennessy that, but y'all was the ones giving it to her. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You wanted to make sure she had the Hennessy. Sure.
Champagne, fuck
I know you want to be on that.
Nigga, we here.
Nobody
disrespect.
I'm not disrespecting. No, I'm not. I'm coming. How you coming? Let's go.
No, he's not coming like that, though.
Yes, he is.
Nobody's coming like that.
No, we're keeping all this.
You the only person coming like that.
All right, I have a question.
I ain't say erase it. I said run that shit back.
I have a question, Rock.
What? I mean, not what, but yes. No, because I'm defensive right now.
For what? You don't have to be defensive. We listen.
You was our friend
It's a sensitive
15 minutes
topic.
ago. We was worried about you.
Everything. We're talking about a glass cup going through your head. You trying to say. You
want to act like you give a fuck, man?
I always gave a fuck. You're trying to say, and you're trying to gaslight me. Just let me talk for myself. I don't like nobody setting me up in a conversation. Let me talk for myself. You saying what you're saying. You saying, okay, I disrespected you. Whoop-de-whoop-de wham. I had no reason to disrespect you?
Yeah.
How?
What was the reason?
What do you mean?
If anybody disrespects
whatever you said,
listen.
Look,
but
whatever you said,
that's the move part. Like,
whatever you
if
said,
somebody disrespect me, I can tell you
What-
exactly what they said, how they said it, which part I didn't like, and what triggered me.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna say
what happened, Rock.
bitch. Like, all right, if I feel disrespected, I'm like, and I say what I say. Like, all right, you been a bitch. He didn't take it like how I said it. He like, oh, you call me a bitch? Yeah, what you mean? You call me a bitch all the time when you feel like I'm a bitch, you feel like I'm a bitch, so you gonna say it. So why can't I say you a bitch? Because I feel like you a bitch. Like,
once again, we're not addressing the fact that he was squeezing on her cut. Okay, got you. Understood. Once again, keep in mind, y'all, the deflective and manipulative tactics, when people start to do the psyched game, that's when a lot of people try to a lot of times try to deflect from the actual issue that they know they probably did, that they know was actually that they know actually happened. That's the reason why a lot of times when I start talking to people on the panel, I already have my evidence like in the chamber, loaded up in my chamber, just in case. I never said that. Say no more. I got 2.5 seconds. I already got it pulled up right here. Conscious, can I share my screen? Whoop, play it right now. Because people typically go for that type of route to deflect and not really take accountability.
straight up.
Yeah,
you feel like it hurts your feelings.
So if a nigga play with you, right? And you feel like a bitch,
was hurt.
And I say you a bitch, and then I'm like, okay, you say you always tell me when I'm a bitch. Why can't I tell you when you're a bitch?
Because
okay, that's weird.
Listen. You can
straight up.
Wait, hold on, Gina. You can tell me that,
bro. And then you say, oh, you need to remember word for word. I don't, bro, because the one thing about me, one thing about trauma, I like to I'm not drunk. One thing about trauma,
girl, you are drunk. No shade. You're intoxicated, but I understand. When someone is intoxicated, do not tell them that they are intoxicated because that pisses them the hell off. Come on, nose ring, pissing me off. Ooh, girl, my nose ring. But you are intoxicated, but however, they're also using that narrative to blur the general public's perception and also to try to deflect from the gaslighting tactics that they're utilizing.
I'm thinking about shit that play with me. I want to forget.
Why you have so much
what do you
trauma?
mean? I don't.
Right, that's what I asked earlier. I got detoured.
Are you kidding?
I'm asking you why you have so much trauma.
Fuck the trauma. I'm talking about the situation we're talking about. You're trying to like change the subject and play with me because I'm drunk. I'm not drunk.
You said we don't think
I'm
you're drunk.
lit, nigga.
We don't
I'm
think
lit.
you're drunk.
What's
We
up?
got your back.
The fuck?
Why are you
What's
acting like we're your enemies here?
I'm not. I'm trying.
Pay attention to the tone. We have your back. Why are you acting like we're enemies? It's condescending.
Talk to y'all. Y'all not letting me talk. Y'all trying to talk for me.
But
Like,
talk to us
straight
like we
up.
fam. I was hella cool. We was
And then
hella
you're
cool
laughing.
20 minutes
Hold
ago.
on. Wait. Express
What?
yourself.
Let me
Express yourself.
drink.
All right, good.
This shit, wow.
Rock, do you ever so I'm not against you. I'm here
I'm
with
not
you.
against
I'm listening.
Nobody here.
But
Now you trying to
I
laugh
am.
and trying to
Nobody's
get a
against
joke.
you,
What
'cause
you
you-
I ain't
saying?
against you. I might be
You're trying
against
to
certain
joke,
situations.
Stop
Hey,
playing with me.
listen, I might be
That
against
was
certain
playing with me.
situations,
Trying to
but
joke
I'm not
what she
against
said,
her
she
per
said.
se.
What you playing
Nobody's
for?
against you.
What you playing
over
for?
So
Lit.
It's
I
sensitive.
think I'm gonna finish.
What
it.
you playing for?
I think I'm gonna finish. it.
No, you're not.
You wanna do it by yourself?
What do you mean? Do it by
I'm gonna do it. I'm
myself.
gonna do it. I'm
Are
not
you
finna-
looking at
hold on,
me?
No. Wait, listen to what I'm saying. Fuck.
No, because you're being
You
weird.
listen to what I'm saying?
They're talking to me. Am I supposed to just be quiet?
That's crazy. This
If
type
you
of-
want me
look,
to be
guys,
quiet,
look.
I
I'll
never
be
thought I'd be
quiet.
dealing with a female like
If you
this.
want,
Like,
let me be
Listen,
quiet. I'll be
when I talk
quiet.
short, my bitch gonna shut the fuck up.
That's
Listen-
how it's
Man, that's
supposed to be.
weird,
Listen to what I'm
bro.
saying.
Like,
Talking lady.
Hold on, sir.
Woo! Pay attention. When he talk, his bitch. The ownership. This bitch is gonna shut the fuck up.
I
I'll
never
be
thought I'd be
quiet.
dealing with a female like
If you
this.
want,
Like,
let me be
listen.
quiet.
He said, I never dealt with a female like this. Let me see. I don't want to misquote him. Let me see. Is it subtitles? Oh, subtitles. Come on, subtitles.
that's crazy. This
If
type
you
of-
want me
look,
to be
guys,
quiet,
look.
I
I'll
never
be
thought I'd be
quiet.
dealing with a female like
If you
this.
want-
Like,
Oh, he said, I never thought I'd be dealing with a female like this. Okay.
Let me be quiet. I'll be
when I talk
quiet.
short, my bitch gonna shut the fuck up.
Oh, said because when I talk, bitch, my bitch gonna shut the fuck up.
That's
Man,
how it's
that's
supposed to be.
weird,
So what I'm
bro.
saying,
Like,
talking lady.
Hold on, sharp.
I feel
Hold on,
what
when
you're
I say
saying.
shut
Hold
the
on, sharp.
fuck
This
up.
usually when I talk, I'm used to a bitch shutting the fuck up. Listen to what I'm saying, dissecting it, and then picking her part of
Her truth.
exactly.
I feel it.
This one right here, she just
Stop saying this one right here.
She
Talk
just
to
like-
me. Look at me.
it's like-
I'm right here. I'm
She's
fucking right
so
here. I'm right
intoxicated.
here with you.
It did not help.
Stop playing with me with Shark. I love you. You just talking to Shark and you trying to like isolate me from that conversation. I love you. I'm sorry. If you want me to be the bitch you talking about what you talking to Shark about, I'll be that bitch. You said any other bitch.
And what we see right here, y'all, and what we see right here is the perfect example of codependency. What we see right here is the perfect example of lack of self-love. Your partner doesn't put you in situations like this. But I forgot, this is a toxic relationship. They're toxic to each other. One, being honest, they're both, in my honest opinion, they both are codependent on each other. Personally, that's what I believe. She's codependent on having a relationship. He's codependent as using her as an asset. In my personal opinion. And it's just sex. To be completely honest.
Bitch. Like what? I'll be cool and I'll be quiet. I'll be cool.
I speak for myself.
I'll be cool and I'll be quiet. Like I'll be cool.
You're gonna
Like
be quiet. Why are you still talking?
because I'm talking to you,
What are
Daddy.
you talking about?
Because Daddy, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. How I feel.
So let's
Please
bring
ask
things
your
Not
question.
in your
Please
head
ask.
like that.
Rock, I have a question for you.
We're trying to get to
I'm
some
not
questions
being
here,
weird.
sweetie. For real, for real.
I don't care. I
That's
don't
cool.
look bad. I look like myself.
Rock, I have a question for you.
The fuck? They asking hard questions that nobody never asks. And this is how I'm answering them straight up. If you don't want to be with me in these answers, you can stay there.
She said her asking some hard ass questions.
I still.
I feel that shit. She said, hold on.
Ask them questions. So you
We're trying here, baby, but
Well, I have another hard question.
hello, babe. Why not?
Come on, why are you?
Hey, come on. Hey, Rock.
I'm gonna step out and let y'all do the interview.
All right. All right.
What are you
Hey.
getting up for?
Please, stop grabbing.
Yeah. Well,
Now all of a sudden she's strictly the bad guy. Don't get me wrong, she's intoxicated. Don't get me wrong, she's on one of her episodes, but then yet everybody wants to act like she did this all on her own. Everybody forgot the gaslighting question statements that happened in the beginning. Everybody forgot that when you notice that she was getting kind of crazy, pay attention to who was the person that made sure that she got some more alcohol in her system. Okay, so I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end this video here. I'm gonna start a new live, and then I'm gonna do the other half of the video because I don't want this video being like 45,000 hours. I don't need that. So what I'm about to do, I'm about to end this video, and then I'm going to start another live, part 2 of this, and then I'll continue like that. But that is it for my commentary video for today, guys. Let me actually make sure I do this. I want to make sure I shout out Christina. Thank you for your contribution. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Loves, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much for your contribution. Voice of Reason, thank you for both of your contributions. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, I'm about to end this live right now. What I'm about to do is start another live. That should take like roughly like 3 minutes, honestly, because I can just copy and paste everything. But with that being said, thank you guys so very much. I will see you guys later. Hold on, let me get myself together, girl. Everything going crazy. Deuces!